I'm not the smartest guy out there. I make a lot more money than most. Not because I'm intelligent, it's because I'm willing to do the action, do the work. If you've never been where I want to be, then you don't have the roadmap to get there. I love you. I just can't listen to you anymore about that.
Were there some things you learned late? Like, man, I needed this earlier.
Chasing excellence versus chasing capital.
What do you see the common impediments that prevent them from getting to where they would like to be? Welcome to another episode of Free at Last. I'm your host, James Catledge. We've got a special guest in today from Ocala, Florida. We've got Marco Wealth, the founder, CEO, chairman, Nathan Marco in the house. Welcome, Nathan.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, good to see you, brother.
Appreciate you. Yeah, it's a blast.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me out.
Yeah, it's great. You and I have gotten to know each other for the last year or so.
A little bit.
And I want to talk about your background a little bit because, as you know, our show is about interviewing financially independent entrepreneurs, male, female, all shapes and sizes. But entrepreneurship seems to be the route. I have not yet interviewed an employee who is financially independent.
Sure.
I can't find one. I'm looking for one to interview, and I can't find one. They're all entrepreneurs. Would you say, Nathan, if you were to go back a ways, because you're now in financial services,
Sure.
and
Yes.
that's created the wealth that you've currently accumulated. And you were telling me before we went on the air, you've been a millionaire in 4 different fields.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating.
Yeah.
So would you say you were wired from the beginning to be an entrepreneur, or did you find your way there?
Oh, that's a really good question, Gene. Actually, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Wired from the beginning. I've never been asked that out of all the podcasts.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Like as a
know.
kid.
I think you're innately, society makes you run towards, what you visualize what success is.
Yeah.
Just it's learning the adequacies and like the I guess the traits to get it.
Yeah.
That's where you don't have the tools.
Right.
You're surrounded by the middle class, which is
Right.
nothing against the middle class, but that's what most of us are
Sure.
growing up.
And we were raised perhaps by the middle class. Yeah.
And to touch the 1% is exactly that. How do you find the 1%?
Right.
To just give me, and then when you find them, how can you get them to talk to me?
That's right.
So
That's
it's
right.
just the lack of the tools. All the desire's always been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure,
But
always.
did you find yourself as a young man creating little businesses, little
Yes.
side hustles?
Yes, I was hustling. Oh
You-
yeah, in
yeah.
school. Yeah, I would sell watches and matter of fact, I was an artist.
Okay.
And I would sell, I didn't even know how to train. I read a book on how to teach. And in 5th grade, I was already charging 50 cents a lesson to teach them how to draw. So I was already trying to figure out a way to get.
So you were already thinking, I've got a skill, I can make money, there's a market for it, I can charge as a kid.
Yeah, well, my dad was an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would your dad do?
He was land development. So he would buy property. He would insight what he thought would be built there.
Yeah.
He would build, really wild homes. He was one of 4 people in the world that built solid styrofoam homes. And
Wow.
yeah, so he was
Okay.
an working man first, and then house fire, took the insurance, which is amazing. Insurance does this to you. Took the insurance instead of buying clothes and stuff the middle class would
Yeah.
do. He actually took the money and used it to build a house. And
Wow.
he got a bunch of money. He made 80 grand in that house, and back in 85, 86,
Yeah.
87 is a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of
for
money.
an working man that's probably
Yeah.
making 15 grand a year.
Yes.
He's like, maybe this is something here, and he just stuck with it and retired by right under 40 years old.
Okay, cool. So you've got the traits. People are coming to you for insight.
Yeah.
You're being interviewed all the time. You do lots
Sure.
of podcasts. You're leaving here to head to Salt Lake to do more podcasts.
Correct.
You're constantly educating and informing people in this area of success. Tell me, in your mind, what are the traits? And this is different for everybody, but just in your mind, what are the traits that must be adopted to become financially independent? And some are early and some are late, but what do you think the traits are?
You have to desire pain. You
Okay.
have to want pain.
Okay.
Because
Suffering.
yes, you have to want it. You have to think about it all the time. If I'm not suffering, if I'm not busy, if I'm not overwhelmed,
Yeah.
I'm not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
There's nobody I know that had a book of accidental achievements. It's always been some mass impact
Right.
that's happened over and over. And when there's dumpster fires all around you, that's when you're very close.
Yeah.
And the very, very finitely few can walk through that brimstone and fire and endure the pain long enough to get to the other side.
Yeah, well said, well said. I had a mentor of mine used on that exact point. He said, success goes right through the middle of the city dump. And most people end up setting up camp there. He says the road to success is somehow routed right through the city dump.
Yeah.
And too many of us just stop there and set up camp and end up spending our lives at the city dump. Yeah. If you think about Mount Everest, I'm not a mountain climber, but I sure respect it. You know, these folks who climb these summits, these summit seekers. There's clubs of people who are looking to climb the 7 highest peaks in the world, right?
Sure.
And all of them will talk to you about base camp. And base camp, as you know, is where we go and we set up the oxygen and we get our blood right. We get our oxygen levels prepared for that climb, that ultimate stage.
Yeah.
But if you're at base camp and you look around, it's a disaster.
Yeah, it looks like hell.
It looks like hell. There's litter everywhere. There's garbage. There's everybody that probably won't make it to the summit.
Sure, everybody's stressed out.
Yeah.
Just looks like you haven't slept in days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So base camp, if you just study base camp, that's life. That's the life we're in. And very few will do what it takes and actually pay the price to actually get to the summit.
Yeah.
Very few.
Yeah.
And there's actually dead bodies just beyond base camp.
Oh, sure.
They weren't going to make it.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of success. And I don't know anybody that I've ever spoken to in life that doesn't want to be successful.
Yeah, you see a lot of rich people not wanting to be poor, but a lot of poor people that want to be rich. So when they would say, well, money doesn't make you happy, money doesn't do things, I ain't never seen a kid get a gift and be mad about it. You know, it's very rare you see that. So
Yeah.
even from birth, I mean, having excess of something in abundance always feels good.
Yeah, they want nice things.
Yeah, it's rather just an excuse to like not have to try harder is usually what that kind of stems from. So,
Yeah. So back to the list.
Yeah.
So desire to suffer or a willingness to suffer.
Yeah, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. You have to have a really close relationship with pain.
Yeah,
And
and
discomfort.
understand it's part of the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what else? What else is on the list? Because that's a hard one. That's a
Yeah,
hard one.
discipline. Your
discipline.
mind must be stronger than your feelings.
Okay.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Because your feelings, if you think about anything you've chosen not to do, your
Yeah.
feelings were the derivative of it. It was the driving force behind, I'm going to quit this job. I'm done with that. I'm too stressed out. It's always feeling based, right?
Yeah.
Not logic based. And then when you make that decision, you'll logically back up that decision with nonsense.
That's right.
So your mind must be stronger than your feelings. Your mind has to be fortified.
How do we get there? How do we get there?
Following people that do it. There's people all the time that talk about it, taking it, not just hearing it, implementing it.
Yeah.
I'm not the smartest guy out there, James, but
Yeah.
I make a lot more money than most.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm intelligent, it's because I'm willing to do the action, do the work.
Okay.
They'll think about it and they'll sort it out and they'll plan it out too long. I'm already moving. I'm
You're
already doing it.
action oriented.
Oh, huge. Have to. Now.
Action,
Now.
action,
Fast.
action. Yeah. And decisive. So these are all part of the skills. Action oriented, less talking, less, George Washington, this famous quote from Valley Forge when he's in the middle of the initial war to take America and make it its own independent nation. He says, what we need is less shouting, more shooting. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
George Washington. And that's true.
Is that what he said?
That's his quote. That's George Washington.
I'm gonna write that down.
Less shouting, more shooting. Because
Yeah.
his generals and his admirals were busy organizing and shouting and yelling at the guys.
Yeah.
He says, hey, man, get them out of the tents, get them away from the campfire, load the guns, and let's start shooting.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's where we're at.
Yeah. I think a couple more things would be one is getting decisive on your target, what you want.
Okay, be
right?
specific.
Yeah, and break it down backwards, down to the day, down to the hour if you have to make
Okay.
it tangible and acceptable for you to swallow that pill. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I want to get rich. It's $1 million. Well, what's $1 million per week? I don't know. That's what I want to make though. You don't even know down to
Yeah.
a week or day. You don't even know how close or far away you are.
Yes.
How can you game plan that? So having framework, not just doing random stuff, hoping it works out. Definitely having framework. That way you have things you can mark off your calendar every day. Keeping your calendar full, staying busy. I'm telling you right now, James, out of all my people, from my staff to my agents that I have, if I have an extra big task coming on, something that's going to make somebody extra wealthy, I'm going to find the busiest people that look like they have no time, and those are the ones I'm going to give the task to.
Yes.
There's people that look bored and don't have it, or they're bored for a reason because they don't like to take action.
Yeah.
The busy person will find the time to put this
Yeah,
in.
they
and
fit
they'll
it
do
in.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, you're busy. You're the fastest guy to respond.
Yeah.
I'm busy. I'm a quick responder.
100%.
And I'm busy.
Yeah.
But it matters to me that I'm tuned in.
Yeah.
And my response tells you I'm listening.
Yeah, if you're always busy,
Yeah.
you're definitely. And by the way, folks, you don't have to die to meet the devil. You just have a white spots on your calendar, and you'll meet him real quick. You'll feel like you're in hell by having nothing going on.
Yeah, that's right.
When you're over busy, you're like, God, this is too much. I don't know if I can handle it when you're brand new in entrepreneurism.
Yeah.
And then when you're like, I just want to get away from this, and you get the break, and then nobody wants your attention. Nobody wants your time anymore. And then you're like, I wish I had anyone to talk to right now.
Yeah, that's
wish I
right.
had something to do.
Right.
You feel worthless. So.
If you're thinking about this list of what it takes, were there some things you learned late, like, man, if I needed this earlier, it took some event for me to figure this out, or some relationship that fell apart, or maybe some lesson that just came late. Is there anything like that comes to mind?
Yeah. Great questions, by the way, here.
Thank you.
Insane questions. If you got a chance, if you're invited you to be on a podcast, come on, insane questions.
Thank you.
So chasing excellence versus chasing capital. I chased money on the way up. I didn't know any better.
Okay.
And when you're chasing money, you never actually achieve the money. But you chase excellence, money as a byproduct will somehow find its way to excellence all the time.
Interesting. Well said. Do you think that, let's break that down a little bit, because I totally agree with it. I think this Instagram culture, and you could apply this to all social media, sends out these symbols of success that are very attractive.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the cars, the watches, the yachts, the money, and some of that's fake.
Yes.
A lot of it perhaps is fake. And yet we all know people, including you and I, who actually have substantial financial success.
Yeah.
And we're not busy with the rentals and the rental yachts and the rental watches and the rental airplanes.
Yeah.
And would you say that creates the pursuit of money instead of the pursuit of excellence? Is it this fake culture we're living in that's creating that? I'm trying to give the audience some sense of, don't be distracted by this. Don't even follow the garbage, the phony stuff. And how can we tell it's phony?
Well, I think society right now is creating more people that want to create more delusion. I don't think there's a lot more good entrepreneurs coming out of it. In fact, I'm having a harder time finding better ones.
Okay.
But what I do find is that I think a lot more youth is knowing that it's possible.
Okay.
So the outliers that I would maybe take 20 years to find, they're acknowledging, hey, I can do this at 20, which maybe for me, I didn't realize it until almost 30. Yeah. When I first became a millionaire at 29 years old, it took me a long time. Yeah. If I had Instagram and access today, I'm an old guy, I'm 43. But if I had access back then, I'd have been like, oh my God, yes, I can see all this stuff that's out there, and I'd have believed. I do think that the fakeness creates a belief system that it can be done. So that might start a fire early.
Okay, creates desire.
Sure, but then being wise enough, having a great mentor. Don't have a lot, find one or two and dive all the way into their stuff. You have to.
Essential.
Because he or she is going to protect you and shield you from what you don't know. Information and wisdom are very different things. Yeah. Wisdom is time. You know it true to be true over time. It never changes. Information is just stuff you hear all the time. It changes all the time. Kind of like Google Maps or Google Earth. I can Google Earth here and drive here today. Yeah. And take Google Earth. It tells me the information. It's the same roads. But on my way back, I know the way back now. I'm going to get there faster. Yeah. Because now I know. Yeah. So wisdom is way different than information.
Yeah. It comes from experience. Yeah. But a great analogy, by the way, the mapping. Yeah. I love that. So you think the fake culture isn't maybe necessarily something to steer away from. It may be the very thing that sparks desire.
Sure. Yes. Oh yeah.
Because if you're authentic, you're going to be authentic. You're not going to create a fake Instagram account and rent a bunch of stuff and create a fake culture. Yeah. But you may be drawn in, perhaps, and desire things you didn't even know existed. Sure. Because of some of this stuff. Yeah. So we shouldn't necessarily think it's a negative. But you think we're not creating, with all this coaching, all this training, all this talking, all these classes, all these podcasts, you don't think we're creating more volume of champions? No. You don't? Yeah.
No, I think we're creating just more delusion.
Interesting.
Yeah, because everyone just wants to be on the podcast regardless of what the cost is. It's not about earning the right through excellence to be on the podcast. Right. The podcast people will come to you. Don't go chase them down all the time without something to show for.
No, that's right. I pursue my guest. I actually chase down my guest and try to schedule them to be here because I want quality guests that I know have been there, done that, the wisdom. Yeah. They've achieved what we're talking about. No phonies allowed on Free at Last.
Beautiful studio, by the way. First time seeing this. Beautiful studio.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that. I'm fascinated by the trail that people take to become financially independent, the success path. And it is different for everybody. And I interviewed Brad Lee as the very first episode several months ago on this podcast. And he said something I thought was very profound. He said, I think everybody's route is different, but we arrive at the same mental place. Yeah. He said, in my cul-de-sac where I live, he said, I don't know necessarily everybody behind every door. He goes, but I'm sure if I knocked on the door, went in the living room, had a conversation, we would find so much in common. He says, now back up 10 years for each of us, we may not know each other.
That's right.
He says, but when you arrive at the destination you're seeking, you find common ground with all the other champions.
Yeah.
Why is that? I totally agree with it, but I'm not sure why that's the case.
I think that when you actually get wealthy, and this is important for those out there like faking your journey or whatever it is, it's when you're actually wealthy,
Yes.
your mindset is absolutely different than on the
Yes.
journey up, way different.
Right.
And you can tell, like, I think wealth is porous.
Yeah.
So some people might try to lie their way out of it and say, because that person doesn't have a nice car, doesn't have a nice house, doesn't have a nice anything, but they're claiming they're wealthy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wealth is porous. It'll come out in even ways you're trying to hold it in. You have the best of whatever it is you like.
Yes.
Whatever it is. You know, golf or whatever it is, you're boating. You might not have the biggest house because you don't like big houses, but you like boats and your boat's the biggest out there. Like, you'll see it.
Yeah.
So when everything's off, that's why a mentor is important, because they're going to shield you from that, and they can feel and sense it because their friends are wealthy.
Yeah.
You get around enough actual wealthy people, it's really hard to fake your way in.
No doubt. And you can smell it, which you really can't. That's the poorest part you speak of. You can really tell when somebody's faking success, excellence, or even net worth. You can kind of feel it. And usually they're not talking about it. That's the other thing. They just are that.
Sometimes.
Yeah, their presence, you can tell this person's been there.
I mean, I have had people in the first, I've touched $1 million a year over the last 13 years, but I in the beginning, I was anxious to let the world know. I wanted to be King Kong and let you hear me and see what I did. I worked so hard to get there, bro.
Yeah, right.
I was my only
the
fan.
Price you paid.
Yeah. I was the only cheerleader for a lot of years.
Yeah, right. You're patting yourself on the back because no one else will.
And then you're kind of like, get it to the top, and you're like, F you. You're just so angry at everybody for attempting to call you out and drag you down when the journey was so difficult.
Yes.
And so when you first get there is people that are finding their way there, are right at the cusp of getting it. And for those couple of years, you might talk about your money a lot because you just never had it. It's brand new to you.
Yeah.
So some people say, wealthy people don't talk about their money. Some wealthy people do.
Yeah, in the beginning, yes.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that. You're right. I know very wealthy people who, when it happens, it's really important. And they have been perhaps alone on the journey. Mm-hmm. They have been alone. And maybe even their family and friends are no longer part of their journey because they were maybe not helpful along that journey. And so sometimes friends get replaced. And sometimes families no longer in the picture. And this is true. This is part of the success journey.
Yeah. I love my parents, and I love the people I grew up with.
Yeah.
But if you've never been where I want to be, if you haven't been worth $5 or $10 million a year, then you don't have the roadmap to get there. I love you. I just can't listen to you anymore about that stuff.
Right.
I need to find someone else that's been there.
Is this one of the traits?
Oh, God, discernment.
Yeah, the ability to know that I know you love me.
Yeah, it's hard.
But, and I know your advice is constructive.
Yeah.
And I've been at a place where that advice I would probably follow. But I'm now being mentored by someone who's been there.
But you know what comes with wealth is and assists with that?
Yeah.
Is patience.
Yeah.
Patience, because then in the beginning, when my dad's saying to do this, or my mom's saying to do this, or my friend's saying to do this, and I'm like, look, I just don't know how to tell you right. You almost like blow up at him. Like, just leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. You don't know what you're doing. You know what you're saying. And I think as wealthy, as you collect a lot of income, capital raises, and your assets get bigger, eventually you're like, you know what? That's good advice, Dad. I'll keep that in mind.
And you can leave that.
And you could just leave it at that.
Yeah, right.
And repair the relationship. You love everybody.
That's such good advice. That's wisdom.
Super. That's exactly right.
Wisdom.
That's why mentors are important.
Yeah.
Teach you those things.
Because you can sift. You can sort and maintain the relationship without feeling like I've got to be combative with everybody giving me bad advice.
Yes, the right way.
I had a mentor say this to me. He goes, James, this was a mentor early on. I was in my 20s. He said, James, you care too much about what I think of you. And so when I give you advice, you're busy defending yourself, defending your position. You're explaining how you've already fixed this, already fixed that, already done this, already done that. And you know what? You could be right. But do you want to risk me turning the faucet off?
That's right.
Because it's hard to get through to your stubbornness.
Yeah.
He goes, what if I just kept the faucet on and you sifted as it came in?
That's right.
And I didn't ever have to hear all this friction that I'm hearing currently. He goes, what if that was happening? Wouldn't you benefit more?
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely. and I did care too much. He was like a father figure. I cared too much about what this man thought of me. And I was creating friction in the relationship by saying, oh, but you don't know. And I did this. And yeah, but I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And this was the way I was communicating with my mentor. What a mistake. Yeah. So you see that yourself?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Learning to communicate with patience and just doing active listening is more important, right? Not listening with the desire to respond, listening with the desire to understand,
Right.
and just try to look where they're coming from. And I know it sounds really like, I don't know, probably said 1,000 times, but the truth of it is so powerful. Really
No,
being
I like
actively
it.
listening.
Yeah.
Because most people, what they do is they'll passively listen. So they'll ask a question, you start to answer it. They already are thinking of the next question for the next 40% of the time.
They're not hearing
Not
you.
listening to anything you say.
Yeah.
And then once they realize what question they want to ask next, they're just waiting for you to shut up so they can ask it. So they're hearing 10%. Maybe.
Yeah, that's not communication.
No, you shouldn't know your question until they're done.
Yeah, that's not communication. That's talking. That's
Yeah,
talking.
talking at someone.
Yes. Elon Musk sometimes will be interviewed on this point you're making. And the interviewer, like in a podcast, the interviewer will ask a profound question. And you'll see Elon stop
He does.
and stare.
Almost like look around.
Yeah, and you're thinking, wait, this is a lot of silence. This is a show that's on TV. And then he'll answer. Like I'll give you one example because I think this relates to the subject of our conversation today. He was interviewed by Lex Friedman, a really popular podcast. And Lex does these long 6-7 hour podcasts.
Yeah.
And which we will not be doing today. but Lex is great at these long interviews. And he has Elon Musk in the chair and he says, what's it like to be you?
Interesting
Just
question.
ask that question,
Yeah.
right? And I thought, well, golly, I'm interested in this answer.
Yeah.
Right? And so Elon sat there and he goes, it like affected him personally. You could tell Lex was a friend. He trusted him. After a long pause, he says, you don't want to be me. He said, my life is a storm. He said, my head, if you could see inside there, it's a storm. He says, and occasionally the storm clouds break, but usually my day is very stormy. He goes, it was stormy when I sat down here. This is a bit of an escape for me. He says, I sleep alone most nights. Not because I have to, but because I have a hard time being present. And he's explaining this very vulnerable answer. And I thought, this is a great listener. This is a great communicator. He's able to tap into his mind deep enough to really give us some insight into the Elon Musk mindset. And I thought, I want to be a listener like that. I want to be, and I felt grateful. My mind is not a storm. I felt grateful that I have peace.
Yeah.
That I found a way to have peace in my life. And I'm not out busy trying to solve the world's problems like he is.
Sure.
He's literally seeking to solve the world's problems. Okay, back to our list. Can you think of common traits, Nathan, that prevent, because you mentor a lot of young men.
Yeah.
A lot of young men who are
women.
And women who are making a lot of money under your leadership.
Oh, God, yeah.
You're teaching them to make millions of dollars.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, I know they look up to you and admire you, and you do a great job with them.
Thank you.
What do you see common that prevents them, the common impediments that prevent them from getting to where they would like to be? What seems to be the most common impediments?
Probably implement the one thing that I fight in mentoring that seems to be a common reoccurrence in conversation would be implementing change. I think that's probably the hardest thing.
The changes they need to make.
Yeah, they'll know them.
Yeah.
But just implementing them. They fall right back into their habits. It's a constant battering, ram of me hitting them with the same information every day until it becomes like, okay, I'm a voice in their head at that point.
So let's unpack this. And I know you don't know the scientific answer, but make a guess.
Sure.
This is why there's only 1% that are actually financially independent, okay? I think it's this reason. Even if we're told to change, we know the map. We've got the book. We've got the coach. These are not mysteries. We're not uncovering mysteries here.
Sure.
We're not splitting atoms here.
Yeah.
So why do we struggle to implement the change?
I think it's a lack of actual certainty and belief that they can do it, that they're going to be successful. So if they fear their failure, they'll just not do it to avoid the outcome and have to be audited on the outcome. If I just don't do it, I don't have to be judged.
Oh, okay. So let's get into this. Okay, because you just said two or three very substantial things there. Number one, you said belief.
Yeah.
They lack the belief that they're actually can do it or worthy of it.
I think it's both.
Okay, it could be both. It could be one for you, one for me.
Yeah.
So I may not believe I can do it because we come from a long line of poor people. So I may not believe I can. Okay, so that makes sense. How about this worthy piece? Where's that coming from?
Well, I think that I think people fear success and fear money. Like, what if I got a bunch? What would I do? When you fantasize about the income coming in, that's one thing. But if I said, hey, look, like let's say, for example, you sold shoes, right?
Yeah.
And you have a small shoe store downtown, you're getting random customers coming through, you can handle that. You're not fearful of that, right? You don't fear success in that sense.
Yeah.
You'd love to have a busier day here.
Yeah.
But let someone from Walmart walk in and say, look, I need to make about a 30,000 pair order. You'd poop your pants.
Yeah.
And you'd probably even turn it down out of fear of not being able to complete it.
Right.
When you probably could.
We're not set up for this.
I'm just scared that I can't do this. I don't want to fail.
So this is a third piece you continue to bring back into this conversation: fear.
Oh yeah.
So these are different things. I mean, I can or can't. I'm worthy or not in fear.
Yeah, I think fear backs a lot of it up. And let me give you an example.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. People say that if I was just this, I would be that. If I just was 2 inches taller, I'd be in the NBA.
Yes.
If I just had dad's help, I'd be a good, successful business owner. If I just had, it's always that, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's just say you're a guy that says it to you, and I make you that 2 inches taller. Bet you ain't going to do the work to be the NBA player. Bet you ain't going to be in the gym 7 days a week, not stop practicing. It's more than just, this is your excuse.
It's not got anything to do with the excuse.
This is the barrier you're using to push me off. So you say, well, I would be, but this.
Yeah.
And it's never true. But then what you do, it's why society can be so toxic, middle class can be, is you'll get other people that think like you do, and they'll fortify that thought.
Yeah.
And then you think that way about you, I think that way will be, hey, look, it's the world.
That's why we get along so well. We both hold each other back. Yeah, we both hold each other back.
It's the man, it's the government, it's this thing. We both tell that story to each other.
It can't be us.
Yeah.
We're two cool dudes.
Yeah.
And we would be financially successful if it wasn't for these three things that we have in common.
I let you think you're smart, you let me think I'm smart.
Right. You put up with my casualness, you put up with my lack of discipline, you put up with the fact that we don't go to church or to the gym. All the things that I should be doing, you put up with it. That's why we're best friends.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And so we basically find comfort in the not doing.
And we fortify it with excuses. We have all kinds of, they just reinforce why we can't.
The excuses.
It becomes so difficult to break through that. It's going to take something beyond me talking to you or showing you something internally inside your family or friendship has to change. A lot like life insurance, a dramatic event happens.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh crap, I need to get coverage probably. I didn't realize how impactful that was going to be in my family.
Yeah.
Something's going to shift, or someone you know is going to make it. Something's going to happen close to you and you're going to say, you know what? I'm just tired of this. It could be your boss just not letting you leave for your kids' practice. At some point, something will happen and just randomly it'll hopefully hit the outlier that's like, you know what? I've just been waiting to be called on. And now I need to go.
So you believe this happens internally inside of you, or do you believe it happens externally to you?
I think that's a good question. You're a good interviewer. I think that there's an internal spark that's needing fuel.
Okay.
And I think the external thing that happens gives it the gas it needs to get going.
Okay.
And then once that gets fired up, you're ready.
So internally is where the permanent change occurs.
Oh, absolutely.
Externally is the spark. It's the probative nature. It's getting below the skin, but you've got to do the changing.
Yeah.
I can't do it for you.
Correct.
Right. We're back to why 99% will never do it.
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. I did an episode a few weeks back on the brain, and the brain's desire for efficiency. And the brain is all about efficiency because it's conserving resources. It's biologically designed to conserve resources.
100%.
So every novel thing we introduce it to, whether it's the pursuit of success or the abolishment of fear, whatever we're new to, the brain says, whoa. We're not doing that. That's a lot of resources. You're calling on me to do stuff that's really I'm not wired for. So the brain really wants to tell you we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And so the brain will say, you know what? It's raining. The brain will say, you know what? It's a long ways from here to them.
Yeah.
The brain will say, you know, you don't even like those people at church.
Yep.
They're judging you.
Yep.
So the brain will do everything necessary. It will lie to you. It will do everything necessary to say, I'm going to conserve resources and I will do whatever it takes to convince you to not do this new thing. Because I hate it. That's why habits take 19 days. If you start a new habit today, let's say making your bed. I know you make your bed.
Every
but
morning.
let's just say you don't.
Sure.
If you made your bed every day for 19 days, each of those 19 days, the brain would say, why, come on, you're the only guy in here. What do we do? No one sees this but you. Every day, the brain would be busy resisting this novel effort that's requiring resources. But on the 19th day, you know what the brain does? This is Andrew Huberman. The brain says, all right, if we're going to do this, Nathan, if we're going to make this damn bed every day, then I'm going to rewire the neurons together to make this efficiently easy. We're going to use less resources. We're going to prompt you when you wake up that there's a task here. And I'm going to quit talking you out of it. I'm going to start talking you into it. And we're going to use I'm rewiring them. I've got to rewire with mylar. That's the actual fatty tissue that connects brain neurons together to keep it from arcing and turn it into a superhighway in the brain. So whenever we introduce something new, the brain says, not for me. We're not doing that. We will not be doing that. And if you will live through those 19, 21, 25 days, whatever, some are so stubborn it takes more than 19 days.
Sure.
But the brain biologically would like to do it in 19 days. So if it takes more than that, it's because you're just stubborn, okay?
Yeah.
But if you'll do it, the brain is waiting. It is literally set up to create superhighways, reconnecting neurons to allow success to be a part of our lives. And that's what you've done. You've created the mylar connections through all this discipline where literally in your life, they said, your mom and dad said, no, come on, what are you doing? We got a consistent thing here. You could be in business with your dad. This is easy.
Sure.
This is set up. Son, you're such a go-getter. Why would you want to go risk things, right? Well, the brain said to you, I want more.
Yes.
I want more. And I desire that enough. You may not have known the science, but you knew enough to know I will not be denied. It's back to David Goggins. I will do whatever it takes for my soul to change.
Yes.
And this we're talking down to the persona, the identity of a person, the soul. He called it in his book, You Can't Hurt Me, taking souls. Okay? That's what he called it. I'm taking souls. So he literally in his mind was thinking about a next level experience. But he had to do that to get the brain to cooperate because the brain does not want to cooperate. That's why most never get there. And so I love these interviews because it reinforces in my mind that the road to success is virtually impossible until it isn't.
Yeah. I don't negotiate.
Yeah.
So like when I get up in the morning, I'm like everybody else. So when you wake up, and who wants to wake up and do their bed? I mean, I don't wake up like, oh, I can't wait to do my bed.
Nobody's doing that.
I just get up and I'm like, I'm extremely tired, but I'm telling myself I'm getting up. I don't negotiate with my body. I just push myself back and I start getting up, regardless of what's happening.
Yes.
Same with like, I bet everybody's sat at a pool before and it's cold. You're like, okay, count to three. I'm going to do it, count to three. I don't count to anything. If I'm saying we're getting in, I'm getting in. I'm not negotiating.
Right.
It's happening.
I'm not redeciding this.
Yes, yeah. I don't
doing
leave
this.
that gap of time.
Right.
I'm gonna, like a kid. So you've seen some parents like, I'm going to count to three. Why are you negotiating?
We're doing
with
this
a child?
right
You're the
now.
adult here. Yeah, it's
right now.
I told you to stop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't negotiate, and I personally like to be unreasonable with my ask.
Yeah.
I like to stay unreasonable with what I want.
Yeah. With yourself.
Yeah, just what I want to expect, what I want to get. I like to think really unreasonable.
Yeah.
You know, if it's, well, he doesn't know you. Why is he going to talk to you? I just feel like he will.
Yeah.
I just feel like he should.
Yeah.
I'm that good.
Yeah. And that comes with
my
time.
mind.
That comes with time.
Yes.
This comes with the 10,000 hours of competency.
Yeah.
Where you've put in the time. You know what you're capable of. You know that when you're in the right room, they're not perhaps as smart. You know they're not perhaps as quick.
Sure.
You know that perhaps you're talking to someone who may be in an elevated position, but they're not more elevated than you.
How many times have you told someone to go, just go tell them this, and it works because you know it will, because you've
know.
had a million years of done it.
I know.
You know, so it's what it's like. You're at that level, you just know.
Yes, yeah. The one thing I heard, I don't know where I heard this, but I loved it. It says the one thing about getting around successful people is you realize two profound things. They're not as smart as you thought they were.
That's true.
Okay?
True. That's scary
they're,
true.
They're not as smart as you
Yeah.
thought they were.
Yeah.
They may not be as smart as you.
Sure.
They may not be. All these people you had put on some pedestal,
Yes.
once you're around enough of them, you realize, wait a minute. I'm right there, or maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
I may have a little more advantage. That's what you realize. The second thing you realize, they work hard.
Oh God.
They work hard.
Waiting to see if you're going to say that.
Yeah,
That
and
is true.
they don't negotiate with themselves.
Yep.
If they need to get to the gym, they go to the gym.
Yeah, I think successful people. I think everyone's wired. Most people should be wired with an on and off switch. I'm going to work, and then I get off work, I clock out, and I turn off.
Sure.
And I think successful people are broken. They're just on, and they don't have an off.
Sure.
They don't know how.
Sure.
So when that happens and you realize it's going on, endorse it and pull it in and get around people like that. If
Right.
you have an off switch, teach yourself to break yours.
Right.
And be like that.
And I know what you mean by this because I know what you mean by this. You don't mean you're wired 24 hours a day. What you mean, because you'll certainly, you'll get on the yacht.
Yeah.
You'll get in the water with your swimsuit on.
But I have 10,000 browser tabs up here always going, bro.
There's open windows.
Yes,
and you'll take
always.
a phone call and you'll do what you
Yes,
need to do. And you'll
always.
respond to my text.
Yeah, always.
You'll do whatever you need to do wherever you are. You don't have this, and I love these autoresponders on the email. If this is you, and this is what it says at the bottom of your email, I'm out of the office for 14 days, and when I get back, I'll be responding to your email. If that is on your email, you're in the 99%.
It's 100%.
I promise you that, because nobody who thinks like this has that on their email or would ever consider that option on their communication. Success requires you to be in touch. Yeah. Whether you're on the yacht, whether you're at the movies, wherever you are, whether you walk in Yellowstone Park,
Yes.
you're going to have the ability to communicate with the winners in your life.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
That's what you mean by the on-off switch.
Yeah. I just trained an agent yesterday, and or not an agent. I was actually meeting with a marketing company. That's where it was, because it's another company I'm starting, and I was meeting with a marketing company for it. And I said, if you want to market, and they were pitching themselves to why they should work for me. They want to, because I could have my choice, and I pay well. And he's like, well, what do you need for me to work for you? What do I have to say to make this right? And I said, well, I need, when I call you, to answer the phone or at least respond to me.
Yes.
Almost immediately.
Yes.
Even if it's like, give me 10 seconds or I'm on the phone
Thumbs
right now.
up. I need something. Yeah, I'll be back to you in a minute.
Right. And he's like, what do you expect? I mean, he goes, so sometimes I'm actually busy. I said, I need you to, what if it's an emergency? And I need you?
Acknowledge.
And he goes, but what if it's not? I said, you're thinking wrong. And I don't want to say his name on camera, but I said, you're thinking wrong. Whether it is an emergency or not, think it is.
I need to know you
Treat
heard
me with that
me.
level of respect.
Yes.
And courtesy. So when you call me, I don't care. I mean, I don't know what I can actually say on here.
You can
But
say what you want to say on here.
okay. So I'll try to keep it PG-13, but
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm having private time with my wife. If my phone goes off, if a business needs me or someone needs me, I'm going to pick that up. I can always go back and take care of my business that way.
Yeah.
I put the people that depend on me in that sense, like way first.
What do you mean by private time with your wife? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, James.
But I totally get it, man. And I think everybody I've interviewed would say the exact same thing. They're not out of touch.
Like we've worked together in the past.
Yeah.
And like, I need you to know that I've got your back every second you need me, that I'm that kind of partner. I need you to know that I'm that guy.
That's right. And I do know that about
thank you.
you.
Appreciate it. Same.
I totally know that. Matter of fact, I find this to be a common trait among very successful people. Highly successful people want you to be heard instantly. The moment you've been heard, they want you to know, I got you.
Yeah.
I heard you.
Yeah.
I'll be back to you. I'm on a Zoom. When I hang up,
Yes.
I'm going to get to you.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation is. Yeah. This is, it's really, this has been a fun discussion today, Nathan, because we have a lot in common.
Tons.
And success is rare. We know that.
Yeah.
And being around successful people, I would encourage anyone watching today, you can keep your friends.
Yeah.
But if they're not where you want to be, it's time to find those people.
Yeah.
It is time to get in their presence. And one thing I know about successful people is they love to share how they became successful. Mm-hmm. They love it.
Yeah.
And so if you're not successful and you would like to be, I want you to find the most successful person in your community. Maybe at your church, maybe at your kid's school.
B&I meetings.
And tell them you would like to buy them lunch. And that we'd like to interview them on how they became successful.
Yes.
Nothing's more flattering than that to a successful person. And you need that. You need this. You need these relationships. And what you'll find is not only are they willing to do it, but they're not arrogant.
Yeah.
They're not stuffy. All these excuses you've given yourself about why you've not done this already is that they're different than me, they're lucky, whatever. No. Those are excuses, and it's time we quit using them. Go find the successful people in your community. Buy them lunch. Interview them. Ask them these questions. What traits do you think I need to adopt to become successful? I may not do it like you did it, but I would like to do it, period, in my life. Yeah. So any other advice for the audience about becoming financially independent and doing what it takes to be successful that you want to share?
I want to make sure that everyone that is listening today on this, that you're implementing what we say. It's one thing to listen to podcasts and you'll put your earbuds in, you're mowing your lawn or you're working out. I get that, but like I said, the main thing that I would take from any of these, that if I can go back to 20 years old and change about myself, would be implementing them. I can't say that enough. It doesn't have to be daunting either. Take one part and say, look, I'm going to do this every day. If it's 10 minutes, I'm going to learn about this one thing I need to get better at. I'm going to learn this 10 minutes every day, at least once a day for 10 minutes. And force yourself. And when the scenario gets hard, when life gets difficult and there's a reason to not do it that day, that's going to decide whether you are going to be the 1% or the 99%.
That's the test.
Because the 1% will say, despite of that, I'm going to do this because this is in my calendar. I will not veer from this.
That's right.
You will wait for me and I will do this first.
This is what the 1% do.
That is 1%.
I totally agree. That's great advice. How can we find you on the internet? There are plenty of folks who are going to want to follow you, find you, get more guidance from you. How do we do that?
So on Instagram, you're going to go to Nathan Marco _. So Nathan Marco _ you can go to nathanmarco.com.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I even have an email, which is nathanm@theperfectcloser.com. Believe it or not, James, I actually bought the perfectcloser.com website and shut it down just so I could have the email.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So you can take the domain.
Yeah. That's when you got money, you can do some cool stuff.
That's great.
Some really cool stuff. So that's why I would definitely think it's advantageous for people to get to where we're at. And a lot of stuff, James, that you see with the money, everyone thinks that, like you said, the pompous and the arrogance and all that stuff that comes from money. What they don't see is like how kind a lot of those people are.
Yes.
And the people's lives they change inside of what they do.
Right.
And if you would shut that judgmental part off and just say, look, I want to just get as close to this man or woman as I can.
Yeah.
The stuff that person will do for you and with you is unreal.
Yeah.
And not just change yours. It'll just change. It's like a butterfly effect.
Yeah, I've found in the people that I know, and I get a chance, fortunate, I get a chance to interview very successful people here. I have found that it's an excuse. The arrogance is an excuse. The stuck up, I hear them say, oh, they're stuck up. They won't share with me. They won't talk to me. They won't give me the time of day. These are excuses. And I've also found that if you're going to allow those type of excuses to prevent you from getting close to someone successful, any excuse will do. And you're looking for excuses. And I would say stop doing that. It's not working for you.
Yeah.
You can't be successful and not know successful people. Yeah. And I would also say, because I know all these successful people, one great feature, benefit that they have in common is they have a sealed mind. Which sometimes can come across as arrogance. They block out the world. They're not distracted.
Yeah.
They've sealed their mind from outside influence that's not helpful.
Yeah.
And so that sometimes comes across as narrowness.
Yeah.
It comes across as elitist. And all it is blocking out things that will not allow you to move forward in the way you've selected your life to be.
Yeah, happens all the time on Facebook and Instagram. Is a place where a lot of people park their bullcrap ideas, and they'll send you things. Did you see this? You see that? No, I didn't. Stop sending me that.
Yeah, right. And I don't think these weird jokes are funny. Right.
Stay off the news. Stop watching negative stuff.
Right.
What are you doing? You spent 3 hours watching the news today. Have you done anything towards your own self and your business? This is where the most self-investment needs to be done.
Yeah. And I know no one who's sat in this chair who does multi-paragraphs about political issues. I don't know anyone in the 1% who has the time to actually edit a paragraph on Facebook about their political views.
Yeah.
No one. So that's another thing you could put on the list. They don't have that in common.
You have too much time. You have too much access time where you're getting the other stuff that has nothing to do with you. And which it's funny about your story, James, and I know we're trying to wrap this up, But I got to talk to you on a personal level off air multiple
Sure.
times.
Yes.
And your personal story, which if you look for it, you'll find it.
Yes.
He's a testimony that not only is it just luck, that when he does it, he's done it multiple times with more bad stuff happening to you in a short span of time than most middle-class people have ever had. So I don't care what excuses they've had.
Right.
They've never had your excuses.
Right.
And yours are pretty rough. And you came out of it, I mean, just over and over again. And James, I don't doubt that if it happened to you 10 more times, I'd see you 10 more times right in the seat in front of the world all over again.
I appreciate that, brother. I really do.
Yeah, you're unreal.
Thank you, Nathan.
A beast in the world.
Thank you for being here, brother. Appreciate
Thank you for having
Appreciate
me.
our friendship.
I greatly do.
Yeah, thank you.